Good morning to you. This is the Thursday, July 16th edition of the Carolina Weather Video, and we are starting off the day in pretty pleasant fashion across the region. There's a live look at the Avalon Pier web camera. Well, live as I'm cutting the video. Not live by the time you're watching this, but either way, just before sunrise this morning, pretty nice scene there along the North Carolina Outer Banks. The temperature there is 75 degrees. And let's take a look at the Banner Elk web camera. Some fog evident from that camera shot, courtesy of ResortCams.com. And look at the temperature sitting at 56 degrees. There are some pleasant temperatures in place in many mountain spots this morning. Let me show you some of those mountain observations. Rainbow Springs at 57. Cherokee reporting 57 degrees this morning. Montreat at 60. Busick 57. The Avery County site at 57. There's that 56 degrees in Banner Elk. And 57 degrees in West Jefferson. Looking pretty good. And feeling pretty good up there in the mountains this morning. Although, again, there's some patchy fog up that way. Yesterday, had a nice day in many spots across the region. A break from the heat in the Triad and the Triangle region. Still relatively hot around Charlotte. But it was a little less humid. Still very hot down around Columbia at 99. The Triad area, mainly mid-80s. A few upper 80s involved. I think very similar high temperatures on the way today. And highs in Charlotte anywhere from 85 in Salisbury to 93 there in Monroe. I think most Charlotte locations today upper 80s to around 90 or so. Here's your 5 o'clock hour temperatures this morning. 75 degrees in Fayetteville. It's 75 right now in Raleigh, 72 in Greenville, North Carolina, and 72 in Greenville, South Carolina. Some 70s up and down the Carolina coast, and there's that 59 degree reading there in Boone. Not bad as we start the day. Visible satellite imagery yesterday, we had none of those big complexes of storms rolling through. Now, we did have some clouds for a period of time across parts of the region, and I think we will see sort of a partly sunny type of sky today. Radar yesterday, pretty quiet across the region. I'll zoom this in. We did have a few isolated showers pop up in a couple of spots across the Piedmont zones, but most of us, as anticipated, were rain-free. Now, you got down into parts of the deep south. That's where you had some pretty big thunderstorms yesterday. I'll run this through one more time. Parts of Florida, and then eventually as you got into the afternoon, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, some pretty big thunderstorms, and that's where you had your corridor of severe weather yesterday stretching from Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, up there into parts of the Plain States. All right, so as we go through the course of today, we'll call it a partly sunny sky overhead, and just a few isolated showers, a possibility in the mountains and the foothills. You'll see it is the western part of the state that has the best chance of seeing a shower. Anybody in South Carolina could pick up an isolated shower or a thunderstorm. And at least for the I-40 corridor, and maybe down to Charlotte too, a bit of a dip in the dew points today, getting down toward that workable territory. Certainly a little bit of a reprieve from the oppressive levels of humidity we've had at times thus far this summer. Here's your highs this afternoon, looking pretty good. A lot of 80s on the board in North Carolina, 95 in Columbia, 91 in Charleston. Tomorrow, pretty similar conditions. An isolated shower or storm can't be ruled out, but most of us rain-free. And there's your Friday highs, still not bad at all. But the heat will build again this weekend. Better scattered storm chances returning as well for Saturday. And there's your highs, getting hotter again up into the 90s across the region. And then here we go with Sunday, 90s remaining in place, mid-90s, even some upper 90s mixed in here or there. Next week, cold front will slowly approach, and I think what that will essentially do is keep the chances of scattered showers and storms going for Monday and Tuesday. Now, the European actually wants to wind up sending that front through the area, and so you wind up with a drier scenario later in the week. The GFS kind of hangs some disturbances around and keeps the shower and storm chances going. For the time being, I've left in some storm chance each afternoon, Monday through Thursday next week, in my 7-day, but we'll see if we have to adjust that as we move forward. Tropics, it is still quiet as can be. There's the Gulf of Mexico perspective. No issues at all there. You head on down into the Caribbean Sea. Pretty quiet. Most of the Atlantic Ocean remaining very quiet as well. Now, having said all that, over in the Eastern Pacific, things are pretty active with a couple of active systems over that way. Most intense system is this hurricane there off of the Mexican coast, but it looks like it's going to stay offshore and gradually weaken with time. And that is Hurricane Dolores, by the way. All right, that is it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Everybody have a great day, and God bless.